So I'm in Moncomb at my English class, and my professor gets up and he walks to the board and he writes on the board, "What do you want to learn in English?" Everybody went around and said what they wanted. The girl next to me, she said that she wanted to learn sentence structure. The guy behind me, he said that he wanted to write great stories. But for me, I said, I want to learn how to use a semicolon. And everybody looked at me like I was crazy, like I did not know what I was talking about. Then you just came out of high school? So, me going to school in Detroit, it always went like this. I wake up through the week, and it's 5:30. I have to get in the bathroom because if I don't, I'm gonna be late. And it's cold, it's the winter, it's the fall. I go outside, I'm all dressed up as much as I can. But me standing at the bus stop, because my school doesn't have transportation, I had to catch the city bus, and my fingers feel like they're about to fall off. Sometimes I just go straight back home because how cold it is. I'll be standing out there for hours. But I get to the school, and the first thing that I get greeted is, when I go through the doors, is giant heat blowers. I see this all the time, so it's normal to me. There's literally no heat that's downstairs. So then I go up the stairs to my English class to start my day. And when I go to the hallway, there's like cans of garbage cans that's collecting debris that's falling from the ceiling. And then I go to my locker, and there's debris on my locker. Just another day. I guess I had to share lockers with my friend, which he offered me. So I put my stuff in his locker. And then I go to my English class. I go to my English class, there's this giant garbage can that's collecting tea black colored water. And it's just pouring down. And me being the kid, me being teens, you know, we always come with like crazy names for it. Like a giant tea bag, or the Great Falls, or my favorite, I call it Waterworks because it's water at work, you know? But my teacher, she was so frustrated because she was trying to teach the class of English, and I didn't learn anything that whole entire year. I was just there collecting a letter. And then after my English class ended, I had to go to Spanish. I go downstairs and we get stopped. There's like, you can't go there because the whole basement is flooded. So now my Spanish class is in my drummer room. Spanish get really dramatic. So we have one teacher that's in the class that's trying to tell people, scream, act, and my Spanish teacher is trying to say, good morning. So in the summer of my 10th grade year, me and my sister stumbled upon a post that was on social media that said that our school was going to close. It was a kid, you know, kids do whatever they want, and it's social media, so you don't really know if it's true or not. So we, you know, brush it off like, whatever. But we went on Facebook and we saw a similar post that was from my coaches. The coaches from my baseball, not baseball, sorry. We didn't have none of those things. We only had track and basketball. And my coaches were saying like, this is all done because we cannot do it anymore because the school is closing. So we had to find our transcripts. However, the people that doesn't have the technology that we had, they didn't get a letter until the mail. They didn't get a letter in the mail until it was 2 weeks before school was supposed to start. Imagine that. You had to find a school within 2 weeks. My mom was so upset because she found out on social media from her kids, and she didn't get nothing physical until 2 weeks. So we set out to find our transcripts. We go to the school and they like, oh, we don't have it. And my sister was missing her 9th and 10th transcripts. I was missing my MEP scores and my transcripts. So she's panicking, thinking that she had to repeat the grades all back over again. I'm thinking to myself, since I grew up with that mentality, it's normal for a Detroit student. You hear stories about it all the time, about transcripts missing, you know, or information that's missing, or getting downgraded to a school that you really don't want to go to because circumstances. But at that point, my sister, she felt like it was over for her. I felt like we just got unlucky, because that's what happens. However, 424 actually stepped in, and when they found out about it, we found that our transcripts is all the way towards the far east side of Detroit. How did it get there? I don't know. At one point, they just don't talk to each other. They just give papers to anybody. And luckily, she found her transcripts. However, my MEP scores was never recovered, so I couldn't go to a school that I wanted to go to. So I was downgraded to a school that was just closer to home. And just because of that result, I ended up to like 2 different schools throughout my whole life. So me trying to build a foundation with friends, Me trying to build a foundation with teachers, recommendations, all that stuff are out of the blue. So what's next? I went to college, you know? I tried to take the challenge to go to college because I wasn't going to just stop there and let the oppression take over me. So I went to Macomb Community College, and I sat right there in that class, and I said, I want to learn how to use a semicolon. And everybody looked at me like I was crazy, like I didn't understand anything. I thought that was the most fantastic thing ever. Semicolon? That sounds amazing, like what? So I thought I had all the necessary tools to actually go to Macomb. But my reading scores was so low that I ended up in a class where people was almost twice my age. And then I turned to the guy next to me like, why? Like, he's like, then you just came out of high school? I was like, yeah. And he's like, man, my high school had like 2,000 people that was in it. You know, the team spirit and all that craziness, you know, the lunches is amazing. And I was like, wow. That's when I realized what I went through, maybe it was not normal. So then I go to my math class and I talk to them about like things that they had, and they had like all the necessary tools and everything that they needed for college. But for me, I felt like my life, that was not normal at all. So after that, I just kept pushing. You know, I just kept pushing through college as much as I can. No matter what outcomes that comes towards my way, I just kept pushing. So then I ended up at U of M. And then I decided to become an organizer because I don't want nobody to grow up with that mentality of being a Detroit student, thinking that that's normal. Debris, losing your books, outdated, terrible lunches, mold. That's not fair. Thank you.